Hello everyone, Nishant here from learnqaskill. In today's video, we are going to learn about non-functional testing. In non-functional testing, we will be learning about performance testing, security testing, recovery testing, compatibility testing, sanitation testing or garbage testing. So first we will discuss about non-functional testing. Once the application functionality is stable, then we can go for the non-functional testing. Means once the functional testing is done, then we can go for the non-functional testing. And the non-functional testing focuses on customer expectations. And there are types of non-functional testing like performance testing. In the performance testing, we have load testing, stress testing, data volume testing. Then we have security testing, recovery testing, compatibility testing, sanitation or garbage testing. So first discuss about the performance testing. So what is performance testing? Checking the behavior or a speed of an application by applying the load is known as performance testing. Applying the load means checking the behavior or a speed of the application if multiple users accessing the application at the same time. So that we can call as a load. So in performance testing, by three ways we can conduct the performance testing. One is a load testing. So what is load testing? Load testing means gradually increasing the load on the application, then check the speed of the application. Gradually increasing means first we will check for the few users like 10 users, then 20 users, then 100, then 200, then 500. So like this, slowly we will increase the users and we will check the speed or behavior of an application. So that is called load testing. Second is a stress testing. So in stress testing, we suddenly increase and decrease the load and check the speed of the application. So in a stress testing, first we will test for the 100 users, then we will check for the 500 users, then suddenly we will increase to the 5000 users, then suddenly we will increase for the 10,000 users, then suddenly we come to the 100 user. So like that, suddenly we will increase and decrease the load. In that condition, we will check the performance and behavior of an application. And third is a data volume testing. So in the data volume testing, we check that how much data is handled by our application. If in our application there is some feature that can accept the data from user and that store into the database, if the multiple users submit the data at the same time, so how that data will be handled and how that data will be stored in the database, so checking that is called a data volume testing. Next is a security testing. So security testing means testing how secure our application is. We can do the security testing by doing authentication and authorization or access control. So what is authentication? So authentication means testing whether the valid user are able to access our application or not. And second is a authorization. So authorization is a verifying the permission of the valid users. If we take an example here, if an application has a two logins, one is a normal user or the customer user and another one is a admin user. If you log into the application as a customer user, you should be able to access only the customer features. You are not allowed to access to admin features. And if you will log in as an admin user, so you will be able to access only the admin features. You are not allowed to able to access the normal customer or normal user feature. So this is the permission we are checking here. Permission for the customer and permission for the admin. So this is comes under the authorization or access control testing. Next is a recovery testing. So recovery testing is a type of testing that is performed to check if the system under test is a compatible of recovering from any application crashes or other failures or not. To conduct the recovery testing, system is forcefully made to the crash to note its recovery rate or recovery time. So what we are testing here in a recovery testing, if any power failure or any crashes happens, so our application should able to recover from those failures, that we are testing here. So let's take one example here for the recovery testing. Suppose you are working on the Google Chrome application. Okay, so in that you have opened the multiple tabs like 5 to 10 tabs and suddenly your system got hang or power off because of battery discharge, and after charging the system you again open the system and you again open the Chrome browser. So in that case there you will see one restore button. If you click on that restore button, so all your tab got restored and it will be restore all the data as you worked on. As you are working on the previously, all those tabs will be open and those web pages will be open. So why this happen? Because for the Google Chrome, proper recovery testing is done so that Google Chrome browser is able to recover from the failures or the system crashes. So here are few examples are given of failure like power failure or hardware failure or server unreachable or system crash or wireless network signal loss. So these are the few examples of failure. So on this condition, we have to test the recovery testing. Next is a compatibility testing. Compatibility testing means checking the functionality of an application or application on a different software or a hardware platform or network or browser and the device is known as compatibility testing. Next is a software compatibility. Here we are checking our application should be compatible with the all the versions of software. So new version of software and backward versions of software or the previous versions of software. So our application should be compatible with the forward versions and backward versions. Like if you take an example here, if our application right now working on a Windows 7 platform or Windows 7 software, so it should be compatible with the newer versions like Windows 8 or Windows 8.1 or Windows 10. And in the backward compatibility, if our application is working on Windows 10, so it should be compatible with the previous versions like Windows 8.1 or Windows 8 or Windows 7. So our application or our application features should be compatible for the newer versions of software and previous versions of software as well. So that is called software compatibility testing. Next is a hardware compatibility. Testing that the application is compatible with the different size of RAM, hard disks, processor and graphics card. So checking our application with the different hardware setup, it's called hardware compatibility testing. Next is a mobile compatibility. So testing our application is compatible with the different mobile platforms like Android or iOS etc. Next is a network compatibility. So testing the compatibility of a software in a different network parameters such as operating speed, bandwidth and capacity. So that is called network compatibility. Next is a browser compatibility. So in browser compatibility, we test that our application should be compatible with the all the browsers. Like you can see the multiple browsers on the screen like Google Chrome browser, Internet Edge, Opera, Firefox or Internet Explorer or Safari browser. So with all these browser, our application or our application functionality should be compatible. Next is a sanitation or garbage testing. If our application provides any extra feature or functionality which is not part of requirement, so that we consider as a bug, so that we have to remove from the application and then again test it. So our application should not have any extra features or the functionality other than the requirement. So checking that and removing that all the features means removing that all the extra features and then testing the application according to the requirement. So that is called sanitation or garbage testing.